Hello everyone, welcome back to your Science Tech YouTube channel. I am Pallavi Kandamneni. Hope you all doing well. In our Science Tech YouTube channel, we are in the discussion of systems in our human body. Systems in our human body, I already discussed about pulmonology, which is a respiratory system. So today I am going to deal with another system, which is in cardiology, nothing but circulatory system. So coming to cardiology, structure of heart. The structure of heart was described by Raymond in 1706. So, human heart is made up of special type of muscles called cardiac muscles. The heart is situated in the thoracic cavity and its apex portion is slightly tilted towards left. So, do you know the weight of human heart? Okay, it's 300 grams. The size of our heart is roughly equal to the closed fist. The heart is divided into 4 chambers, upper 2 small atria and lower 2 large ventricles. The walls of ventricles are thicker than the auricles due to the presence of papillary muscles. So here, due to the presence of papillary muscles, the wall of ventricles are thicker than auricles. So, the space present between the membranes is called pericardial space and is filled with the pericardial fluid. So, okay, then here the human heart is about the size of human fist, and is divided into 4 chambers. Those 4 chambers are 2 ventricles and 2 atria. The ventricles are the chambers which pumps the blood and the atria are the chambers which receives the blood. The main function of ventricles is to pumps the blood, and the main function of atrium is to receive blood. Okay, next slide. Coming to pericardium. The pericardium is a fibrous membrane found as an external covering around the heart. This pericardium surrounds around the heart, which is an external covering to the heart. It protects the heart by producing a serous fluid which serves to lubricate the heart and prevent friction between the surrounding organs. So, this pericardium protects the heart by producing a serous fluid. By producing serous fluid, this pericardium layer is helped to prevent and protect the heart. Apart from lubrication, the pericardium also helps by holding the heart in its position and by maintaining a hollow space for the heart to expand itself when it is full. Okay, clear? Then coming to the next slide. Structure of heart wall. The heart wall is mainly consisting of 3 layers. Those are epicardium, myocardium and endocardium. Epicardium is nothing but it is an outermost layer of the heart. Epicardium is the outermost layer of heart. It is composed of thin layered membrane that serves to lubricate and protect the outer section. The main function of epicardium is to protect the outer section of heart and to serve the lubricating action. Okay, then coming to myocardium, this is the middle part of the heart, the middle layer of the heart. This is a layer of muscle tissue and it constitutes the middle layer wall of the heart. It contributes to thickness and is responsible for pumping action. This myocardium main function is to pump the blood. Pumping action is a main function of this myocardium. Then coming to endocardium, it is the innermost layer of the heart which lines the inner heart chambers and covers the heart walls. This endocardium covers the heart walls, so it prevents the blood from sticking into the inner walls. Okay, then thereby preventing potentially fatal blood clots. Okay, this endocardium prevents the heart from clotting. Okay, clear? Then coming to the next slide, these are the chambers of heart. As I said, there are 2 atria and 2 ventricles. Right atria, right ventricle, left atria, left ventricle. Okay, clear? Observe this picture. So here, okay, the right atrium, what is the function of atria? That atrium receives blood, no? Okay, here the atria receives blood from the veins from our body and pumps it to the right ventricle. What is the function of ventricle? Pumping action. So the atria pumps blood to ventricles. The right ventricle receives blood. Okay, again the right ventricle receives blood from the right atria and pumps it to the lungs where it is loaded with oxygen. Okay, clear here. The atria receives blood from veins, and after receiving the blood from veins, the atria pumps blood to the right ventricle. Here the right ventricle receives blood from right atria and again it pumps into the lungs. So that the lungs In the lungs, the blood get oxygenated. Then the left atria receives oxygenated blood from the lungs. So where the blood get oxygenated, again the left atrium receives blood and from the lungs and pumps it to the left ventricle. So okay, clear. The left atria receives oxygenated blood from the lungs and again it pumps the blood to the left ventricle. The left ventricle pumps oxygen rich blood to the rest of body parts. Here from the left ventricle all other body parts will be getting the blood. The left ventricle's vigorous contractions create our blood pressure. Okay, clear? Understand? Next, coming to the great vessels in our human heart. There are 5 vessels in our human heart: superior and inferior vena cava, pulmonary arteries, pulmonary veins, aorta, and blood vessels. Coming to superior and inferior vena cava, the heart receives relatively oxygen poor blood and deoxygenated blood from the veins of the body through the large superior and inferior vena cava and pumps it to the pulmonary trunk. As I said, the heart receives blood from body, from the veins to the right atrium, large and superior inferior vena cava, and pumps to the pulmonary trunk. Coming to the pulmonary arteries, the pulmonary trunk splits into the right and left pulmonary arteries which carry blood to the lungs where oxygen is picked up and carbon dioxide is included. So the blood is carried to the lungs from the right atria. So after carrying blood to the lungs, there the blood get oxygenated and picked up oxygen and carbon dioxide is unloaded. Coming to pulmonary veins, in pulmonary veins it is the oxygenated blood drained from the lungs and is returned to the left side of the heart through the 4 pulmonary veins. Coming to aorta, in aorta, blood returned to the left side of the heart and pumped out of the heart into the aorta, from which the systemic arteries branch to supply essentially all blood body tissues. Coming to blood vessels, in organism with closed circulatory systems, the blood flows within vessels of varying sizes. Okay, all vertebrates including humans possesses these types of circulation. The external structure of heart has many blood vessels that form a network with other major vessels emerging from within the structure. So here blood vessels are nothing but arteries, veins, and capillaries. The vessels carrying the bloods are of 3 types. They are arteries, veins, and capillaries. These vessels are hollow structures and have complex walls surrounding the lumen. The blood vessels in humans are composed of 3 layers: tunica intima, tunica media, and tunica externa. The inner layer, tunica intima or tunica interna, supports the vascular endothelium. The middle layer, tunica media, is composed of smooth muscles and an extracellular matrix which contains a protein, elastin, etc. The contraction and relaxation of smooth muscles results in vasoconstriction and vasodilation. The outer layer, tunica externa or tunica adventina, is composed of collagen fibers. Okay, clear? Then coming to arteries, the blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart are called arteries. Okay, the blood vessels which carry blood away from the heart are called arteries. Coming to capillaries, capillary beds are made up of fine networks of capillaries. The capillaries are thin-walled and consist of single layer of squamous epithelium. Okay, coming to veins, veins have thinner walls and a larger lumen and hence can be easily stretched. They carry deoxygenated blood except the pulmonary veins. Okay, what is the function of veins? Carries the deoxygenated blood. The blood pressure is low and lumen has a wide wall which is a collapsible. Okay, clear? Next, coming to the next slide. The blood vessels, as I said, the blood vessels of veins, capillaries, arteries. Okay, veins supply deoxygenated blood to the heart. What is the function of veins? Supply deoxygenated blood to the heart. Capillaries are the teeny tube-like vessels which form a network between the arteries and veins. Arteries are the muscular walled tubes mainly involved in supplying oxygenated blood away from the heart to all other parts of the body. These branches into arterioles. Okay, clear? Next slide. Coming to walls. Okay, walls. Anyone are you? I think so. You are aware of walls. Walls are nothing but these are the flaps of fibrous tissues located in the cardiac chambers between the veins. Between the veins, these walls are present. They ensure that the blood flows in a single direction. the blood flows in a unidirectional flow. Flaps also prevent the blood from flowing backwards. These walls are the flaps of fibrous tissue. So these prevents the blood from flowing backward again. Okay, clear? Then there are two types of walls. These are atrioventricular walls and semilunar walls. Again, the atrioventricular walls divided into two types. Those are tricuspid walls and bicuspid wall. Bicuspid walls are also called as mitral walls. Okay, coming to tricuspid walls, these tricuspid walls are located between the right atria and the right ventricle. Okay, then these bicuspid walls are located between the left atria and left ventricles. Then coming to semilunar walls. These semilunar walls are also again divided into two types, pulmonary walls and aortic walls. Pulmonary walls are located between the right ventricle and pulmonary artery. Okay, then next coming to second term, aortic wall. This aortic wall located between the left ventricle and aorta. Okay, clear? These are the walls of the heart. Coming to the next slide. See here, as I said, the walls, pulmonary wall. This is a pulmonary wall. This is a pulmonary wall. This is a tricuspid wall, mitral wall, and aortic wall. Okay, clear? Next, see here, exterior view. This is an exterior view of the heart. Superior vena cava. These are the veins, pulmonary veins. In this bottom portion is called inferior vena cava. These are the arteries. And this is a pulmonary artery. Aorta is a body. Okay, to body. Again coming to veins. Veins branches into venules. Arteries branches into arterioles. Capillaries, are the network between arteries to veins, are called capillaries. Walls prevent the backflow of blood. Okay. Then coming to physiology of heart. The main function of circulatory system is the most important function of circulatory system is transporting oxygen throughout the body. The main function of oxygen is to transport oxygen throughout the entire body. Okay, and it helps in sustaining all the organ systems. It transports blood, nutrients, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and hormones throughout the body. Not only oxygen, it also transports blood, nutrients, CO2, and hormones throughout the body. And also it protects the cells from pathogens. Okay, it acts as an interface for cell to cell interaction. The substances present in the blood helps to repair the damaged tissues. The substances which are presenting in the blood, those substances are helpful to repair the damaged tissues. Okay, these are the functions of circulatory systems. Clear? Then coming to the types of circulation, there are three types of circulation. There are three different types of circulation that occurs regularly in the body. Those are nothing but pulmonary circulation, systemic circulation, and coronary circulation. Pulmonary circulation is nothing but this part of the cycle carries oxygen depleted blood. Oxygen depleted blood is nothing but deoxygenated blood. So this part of cycle pulmonary circulation carries deoxygenated blood away from the heart to lungs and back to heart. So pulmonary circulation is nothing but carrying deoxygenated blood away from the heart to lungs and again from lungs to heart. Okay, clear? Then coming to systemic circulation, here in this part of this carries the oxygenated blood away from the heart to other parts of body. So okay, in systemic circulation the blood carries the heart carries oxygenated blood to the other body parts. Coming to coronary circulation, the heart itself receives the blood. This type of circulation provides the heart with oxygenated blood so it can function properly. The circulation of blood in the arteries and veins that supply the heart muscles is myocardium. Okay, clear? These are the types of circulation. Then see this picture. Here, right atrium, right ventricle, pulmonary artery, lungs, pulmonary veins to left atrium, to left ventricle, aorta, body and other body parts. Okay, clear? Then this is the pathway. To understand clearly, see here. This is the blood circulation pathway. From our body, from human body to veins. From the veins, blood is collected. Blood is passed to the right atrium. So that is the which is a deoxygenated blood. Through right atrium, the deoxygenated blood flows to the right ventricle. Through the right ventricle, the blood is carried to the pulmonary arteries. Pulmonary arteries pumps the blood to lungs. The deoxygenated blood which is in the lungs get oxygenated and passes through pulmonary veins. So in pulmonary veins the blood get oxygenated clearly and flows through left atrium. Through left atria the blood flows to left ventricle. To left ventricle, the blood flows to all other body parts like aorta, arteries, arterioles, capillaries, tissues, etc. The blood flows to all other body parts. This is the clear circulatory pathway of human heart. Okay. Coming to the intrinsic conduction system. The intrinsic conduction system basic rhythm of beating heart by generating impulses which stimulate the heart to contract. There are 5 steps. Stimulation of sinoatrial node, stimulation of atrioventricular node. What is sinoatrial node and atrioventricular node? Atrioventricular node is nothing but tricuspid valves and bicuspid valves. Sinoatrial node is nothing but pulmonary valves and aortic valves. Propagation to AV bundles, splitting into bundle branches, propagation of Purkinje fibers. Okay, these are the 5 steps of conduction system. Clear? See this picture. Intrinsic conduction system of heart. Sinoatrial node, right atrium, atrioventricular node, right ventricle, left atria. Sinoatrial node and atrioventricular nodes. The intrinsic conduction system of heart. Coming to the next slide. These are the pathway of conduction system. What is the pathway of conduction system? Is nothing but SA node. The depolarization wave is initiated by the sinoatrial node. Okay, here the depolarization wave is initiated by the sinoatrial node in SA. Okay, by the SA node, the depolarization waves are initiated. Atrial myocardium. The wave then successively passes through atrial myocardium. The wave which is depolarized is successfully passes through the atrial myocardium. So, coming to atrioventricular node, here the depolarization wave then spreads to AV node and then the atria contracts. AV bundle. Then it passes rapidly through the AV bundle of branches and Purkinje fibers. The wave then continues on through the right and left bundle branches and then to Purkinje fibers in the ventricular walls, resulting in the contraction that ejects blood leaving the heart. Okay, clear? This is the pathway of conduction system. Coming to the next slide, this is the cardiac cycle and heartbeat. In a healthy heart, the atria contract simultaneously. Then as they start to relax, contraction of ventricles begin. Cardiac cycle has systole, diastole, cardiac cycle and its length. Okay, here the systole means when the heart contracts, the systole we call it as systole, and the heart relax, we call it as diastole. The cardiac cycle. Coming to cardiac cycle, the term cardiac cycle refers to the events of one complete heartbeat during which both atria and ventricles contract and relax. Both atria and ventricles contract and relax. Complete cycle. So the event that occur at the beginning of heartbeat and lasts until the beginning of next heartbeat is called cardiac cycle. Okay, clear? The event that occurs at the beginning of heartbeat and lasts until the beginning of next heartbeat is called as cardiac cycle. The length of cardiac cycle is 0.8 seconds. The series of events that takes place in cardiac cycle is there are mainly 5 phases of cardiac cycle: ventricular diastole, atrial systole, ventricular systole, and ventricular ejection, ventricular diastole. Okay, these are the 5 phases of cardiac cycle. Coming to the length, it is nothing, 0.8 seconds. The average heartbeat is approximately 75 times per minute. Not exactly 75, 72 to 75. We can't say exact heartbeats. Okay, so the length of cardiac cycle is normally about 0.8 seconds. Coming to the next slide. So first heart sound is lub. The lub sound is caused by enclosing the AV valves. What are AV valves? Atrioventricular valves. What are atrioventricular valves? Tricuspid valves and bicuspid valves are the atrioventricular valves. So by closing the tricuspid and bicuspid valves, we can hear the heart sound called lub. So coming to the second heart sound is dub. The dub sound, when we hear the dub sound, is the semilunar valves close at the end of systole. What are semilunar valves? Pulmonary valves and aortic valves. By closing the pulmonary valve and aortic valve, we hear the dub sound. Okay. Coming to the next slide. Vital signs. The signs mostly we observe as body temperature, pulse rate, respiration rate, blood pressure. These are the main vital signs routinely monitored by medical professionals and healthcare providers to the patients. Okay. Coming to cardiovascular vital signs, mostly the pulse rate. The pulse rate is a measurement of heart rate or the number of times the heartbeat per minute. As the heart pushes blood through the arteries expand and contract with the flow of blood. Taking a pulse not only measures the heart rate but also can indicate the heart rhythm, strength of the pulse. The normal pulse for healthy adults ranges from 60 to 100 beats per minute. The pulse rate may fluctuate and increase with exercises, illness, injuries and emotions. Female ages 12 and older in general tends to have faster heart rates than do males. Athletes such as runners who do a lot of cardiovascular conditioning may have heart rates near 40 beats per minute and experience no problems. Okay, these are the cardiovascular vital signs. Coming to blood pressure. Blood pressure is the pressure exerted on the surface of blood vessels by the blood. It is a pressure exerted on the surface of blood vessels by the blood. This pressure circulates the blood through arteries, veins and capillaries. There are two types of pressures, the systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. Systolic pressure is the pressure in the arteries as the chambers of heart contracts. Diastolic pressure in the arteries when the heart chambers relax. So when the heart chambers contracts, it is a systolic pressure. But when the heart chambers relax, it is a diastolic pressure. Blood pressure is measured using a sphygmomanometer. It is expressed as systolic pressure or diastolic pressure. It is expressed by systolic pressure by diastolic pressure. Normal blood pressure in man is about 120 by 80. Mean arterial pressure is a function of cardiac output and resistance in the arterioles. The primary reflex pathway for homeostatic control of mean arterial pressure is a baroreceptor reflexes. Okay. By using sphygmomanometer, we measure the blood pressure. The normal blood pressure is 120 by 8. Okay. And the blood pressure is the force of blood pushing against the artery walls during contraction and relaxation of heart. Each time the heart beats, it pumps blood into the arteries, resulting in the highest blood pressure as the heart contracts. When the heart relaxes, the blood pressure falls. Okay. When the heart contracts, the highest blood pressure is resulted. When the heart relaxes, the blood pressure falls. Two numbers are recorded when measuring blood pressure. The higher number or systolic pressure refers to the pressure inside the artery when the heart contracts and pumps blood through the body. The lower number are diastolic pressure. The higher number is a systolic pressure and the lower number is a diastolic pressure. Refers to the pressure inside the artery when the heart is at rest and is filled with blood. Both the systolic and diastolic pressures are recorded as mmHg. mmHg means millimeters of mercury. Okay. Here the normal blood pressure is 120 by 80 mmHg. mmHg is nothing but millimeters of mercury. Clear? Then blood pressure is categorized as normal, elevated or stage 1 or stage 2 high blood pressures. Coming to normal blood pressure is systolic of less than 120 and diastolic of less than 80. So 120 by 80 mmHg. Coming to elevated blood pressure is a systolic of 120 to 129 and diastolic less than 80. Coming to stage 1 and stage 2 high blood pressures, stage 1 high blood pressure is systolic is 130 to 139 or diastolic between 80 to 89. And coming to stage 2 high blood pressure is when systolic is 140 or higher or the diastolic is 90 or higher. So, coming to the next slide, pathology of circulatory system. First, aneurysms. Aneurysms are the weak spots in the walls of your arteries that can be expanded like a balloon. As they continue to get bigger, they are at risk for rupture, breaking open or causing blood clots. Aneurysms can occur in any arteries. Most often they occur in your aorta, which is the largest artery in your body. These are known as aortic aneurysms and there are of two main types. Mainly these aneurysms occurs in our aorta, which is the largest artery in our body. So these are the weak spots in the walls of our arteries. These are of two types, thoracic aortic aneurysm. This thoracic aortic aneurysm which develops the white spots in the part of our aorta. in the chest region. Coming to abdominal aortic aneurysm, these abdominal aortic aneurysms are developed in the part of your aorta that's in our belly. So these are the most common than thoracic aortic aneurysms. Okay. Then arrhythmiasis. Arrhythmias is an irregular or abnormal heartbeat of a person. Some begin in the upper chambers of your heart atria. These are called the supraventricular arrhythmiasis. Atrial fibrillation is the most common type. Arrhythmias are nothing but irregular or abnormal heartbeats. Okay, clear. Then coming to atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is the buildup of plaque in our arteries. So, formation of plaque in our arteries is nothing but atherosclerosis. Over time, the plaque narrows your arteries and makes it harder for blood to flow through. The plaque is also dangerous because it can rupture and trigger a blood clot. Okay. Coming to the blood pressure conditions, these include hypertension. High blood pressure throughout the arteries in our body. So, this is what people usually mean when they say high blood pressure. Hypertension is also known as a silent killer because it often has no symptoms, but it can over time lead to many health problems. Hypertension is a silent killer pathology of the heart. So, this lead to many health problems. Hypotension. In the hypotension, low blood pressure throughout your body. Portal hypertension. High blood pressure in the veins is called portal hypertension, which carries blood from your intestines to your liver. From intestine to liver. In pulmonary hypertension, high blood pressure in the arteries that carry blood from your heart to lungs. Okay. Coming to cardiomyopathy. What is cardiomyopathy? Cardiomyopathy is a group of conditions that affect your heart muscle, leading to weakened heart squeeze. These conditions harm your heart ability to pump the blood. Cardiomyopathy is a group of condition which affects the heart muscles so that the heart unable to pump the blood. That is cardiomyopathy. Coming to congenital heart disease. Congenital means babies are where when they are born. Congenital heart diseases refer to heart problems in babies are born with. Congenital heart diseases is sometimes heritable. Heritable means passed down within a biological families. Other times it occurs in people with no family history. A congenital heart disease sometimes it's heritable, but sometimes it can occur with no family history. Nearly 1 in 100 people have some from of congenital heart diseases. 1 in 100 people have this disease. Okay, clear? Then coming to heart failure, this is the most important. Heart failure, it happens when your heart can't pump the blood as well as it should. So your organs can't get enough oxygen. Heart failure has many causes and it is associated with many other medical conditions. So what happened in this condition means our heart can't pump the blood so that the other organs in our body can't get enough oxygen to work in our body, so that the heart get failed. So heart failure has many causes and this is associated with many other medical conditions also. Coming to heart valve diseases. Heart valve disease can affect any of your 4 heart valves. So this can affect of any of your valves like arteries or maybe veins. These are the doors that separate different parts of your heart and manage blood flow. A disease valve strains your heart. Over time, this can lead to complications like heart failure or sudden cardiac death. Okay, mitral valve regurgitation. So, your mitral valve is leaky, causing some blood to flow backward. Aortic valve stenosis. Your aortic valve is too narrow, limiting how much blood can flow through. Okay. See, what are the symptoms of circulatory system diseases? Coming to the symptoms vary widely depending on the specific diseases. Depending on the disease, the symptoms get varied. Okay, some symptoms of circulatory system diseases are what healthcare providers call non-specific. That means they could signal many possible medical problems. So, it's important to tell your provider about any and all symptoms you are experiencing. They will investigate what's wrong and run tests if needed. Some common symptoms include angina, chest pain with exertion. Angina is nothing but chest pain. Dizziness, dyspnea, edema, fainting on and fatigue, heart palpitations. What are palpitations? Irregular or forceful heartbeat. Okay. Then coming to procedures. Procedures are nothing but what are the tests are where provider the way the provider going to run depending on our symptoms. One of the procedure is echocardiography using ultra high frequency sound waves similar to sonar to form an image of the inside of the heart. This procedure can demonstrate valve damage, congestional defects and other abnormalities. So coming to next one, venipuncturist or phlebotomist. The specially trained nurse or technician draws blood for lab test and may also start IVs, the Greek and Latin versions of cutting into a vein. Okay. Coming to CABG. What is CABG? Nothing but coronary artery bypass graft. It is a surgical procedure used to treat coronary heart diseases. It diverts blood around narrowed or clogged parts of the major arteries to improve blood flow and oxygen supply to the heart. Coming to the next one, valve replacement surgery. Okay. Mechanical and biologic valves are used to replace faulty valves. So in this what the process is going on is valve replacement. So the damaged valves are removed, in the place of the damaged valves the new valves are placed. Mechanical valves are artificial components that have the same purpose as a natural heart valve. They created from carbon and polyester materials that the human body tolerates well. Okay, clear. Then anticoagulants. Drug having the effect of retarding or inhibiting the coagulation of blood. This anticoagulant has the inhibiting function, inhibiting the coagulation of blood. MRA. MRA is magnetic resonance angiography. Angiography means scans that shows arteries or veins. Okay, clear. Then coming to the abbreviations in cardiology. ACG is nothing but angiocardiography. AS is aortic stenosis. ASD, atrial septal defect. ASHG, atherosclerotic heart diseases and atherosclerotic heart disease. Atherosclerotic heart disease or atherosclerotic heart disease. Coming to AV, it is a node which is atrioventricular node. BBB means bundle branch block. BP blood pressure. CA cardiac arrest. CABG coronary artery bypass graft. CAD coronary artery disease. CC cardiac catheterization. CCU coronary care unit, cardiac care unit. CHF congestive heart failure. CKMB creatine kinase myoglobin. CPR cardiopulmonary resuscitation. CV cardiovascular. CVP central venous pressure. DVT deep vein thrombosis. ECG is nothing but electrocardiogram. EDP end diastolic pressure. EDV end diastolic volume. EPS electrophysiologic study. ICA internal carotid artery. IMA internal mammary artery. JVP jugular venous pressure. LAD left anterior descending coronary artery. LCA left coronary artery. Okay, clear. These are some other abbreviations like LCCA left circumflex coronary artery, LIMA left internal mammary artery, LMCA left main coronary artery, LPA left pulmonary artery, MI myocardial infarction, MPA main pulmonary artery, MRA magnetic resonance angiography, MS mitral stenosis, MVP mitral valve prolapse, OM obtuse marginal artery, PA pulmonary artery, PAT paroxysmal atrial tachycardia, PAWP pulmonary artery wedge pressure, PDA posterior descending artery patent ductus arteriosus, PMI point of maximal impulse, PTCA percutaneous transluminal coronary angioplasty, PVC premature ventricular contraction, RCA right coronary artery, RPA right pulmonary artery, SA node sinoatrial node, SFA superficial femoral artery, TIMI thrombolysis in myocardial infarction, TPA tissue plasminogen activator, VSD ventricular septal defect. Okay, clear. Okay, thank you viewers. Hope you all getting this. I thank you for your patience listening. Please like, share and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.